This is the thing. Who you choose to hang around with, who you choose to have in your posse is exactly who you become. Choose your posse wisely. I'm here to tell you that putting yourself first is not selfish, it's revolutionary. Welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast, empowering women to light their lives on fire through Ayurveda, yoga, spirituality, and fitness. Jai Bhagwan, Woman Warriors, and welcome to the Woman Warrior Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Satyavani, and we have my fabulous co-host here,
Prajna Madhavi.
We are so excited to have you here. I got to adjust this microphone here for a second. Hold on. Okay, I think that's good. We were just hysterically laughing about this meme that we saw come across Instagram.
Cat memes.
Cat memes. If you're on Instagram and you don't look at cat memes, we can't be friends because they are just hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, today our topic is all about fitness and how you can line up your fitness with your doshic constitution type. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that a lot of folks are doing that out there. We're going to talk a little bit about the doshas today, the different types of body constitutions, and what are appropriate forms of exercise that will benefit that specific doshic type, as well as what are some of the disadvantages and things that somebody has to look at.
Yeah.
I even brought the Charak Samhita today. We're going back into the ancient texts to talk about it, but
And this is our final piece on energy.
this is our final podcast on the energy body. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
So we have covered some content regarding the Annamaya Kosha, and today is our last one on the Pranamaya Kosha. So I'm going to talk a little bit about energy as it relates in the fitness area as well. So, but all of this is to say that we are very excited about our branded personal training app.
Yes.
And so why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, this is really what brought us to this podcast today, was really trying to promote what we can do in this app. So our personalized trainerized Woman Warrior app.
Yes.
It is, so we kind of played around with it when we were at the DECA Fit last weekend. And you had looked at it and you wanted me to look at it. And I don't know, when I was looking at it, I was like, I want to use this. This is cool. Yes. Just so many menus and so many options.
Because now we've added the nutrition component to it.
Yes. So and
those two things have to go together. Like you can't talk about working out without talking about proper nutrition.
Yeah. And the app itself is awesome because they have videos for every single exercise. If you need a TRX, if you need body weight, if you need dumbbell, if you need barbell, like I can put in just a series of exercises for a person and just kind of, balance out the body, or if they want to focus on legs or if they want to focus on upper body. And they have the videos there. If they need to ask me questions, they can contact me. And it's just such a useful tool. And then with this nutrition piece, now we can look at someone's dosha type and take a look at what they might need nutritionally.
Yep.
And plan that out for them. Yep. And it's beautiful.
And it examines also the menus also give us the option to help enhance the person's constitution type, but also really with the imbalances. Because as it relates to nutrition from an Ayurvedic perspective, we're always looking at what are the optimal foods that you should be eating and the optimal meals that you can plan in order to keep your constitution type fit, as well as if there's any dis-ease that's creeping in. How do we use food, which is always one of the first lines of defense?
Food is energy.
Yep, which is one of the first lines of defense from an Ayurvedic perspective on how to balance somebody out. A lot of times, in Western culture, it's always like, well, take a pill, take a pill, take a pill. That's not what we do from an Ayurvedic perspective.
Eat less and exercise more.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So helpful.
But what you eat, how you eat it, when you eat it, those are all very important things too.
Super important. Yeah. So we have the ability now to formulate that for individuals, which I think makes what we're doing extremely unique.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that we actually have full menus that we can attach to the client inside of the app that give a menu of all of the food categories and what are the best foods for you to eat based on your constitution type, what are some that you should have just minimally, and what you should avoid until the dis-ease has been balanced.
Like cauliflower for Vata?
Yeah, bad idea.
Cold cauliflower?
Cold cauliflower and raw carrots. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the clients that's currently in there doing it, she loved the fact that she could print out the menu and post it on her refrigerator.
Oh, nice.
So that it was just an easy, quick thing for her to be able to reference, especially when she's going grocery shopping.
Nice.
So we have them in PDF form, and now we can plug that in along with the daily recipes and menus that people are craving. So if you are indeed interested in figuring out all of this and want to be part of the app, feel free to check us out on social media, womanwarrioracademy.com. And in the profile, there's a link to the app, and you have all of these different options. We are getting it up on our website as well, as its own kind of pullout. But in the meantime, if you go to Instagram, Woman Warrior Academy, and look at the profile, it will be there.
Nice.
I know. I am excited.
And then we are looking at also getting some testimonials for the app.
Yes.
Okay,
So if you are interested in doing the app and taking a look at it and doing a testimonial, send us an email, Satyavani at thewomanwarrioracademy.com, and let us know that you are interested in test driving it, and we can figure out a discounted price for you in exchange for a testimonial. So we would love to be able to offer that. So.
And we do want to give you the whole thing. So we really do a discounted price if you do the nutrition and the app itself.
Absolutely.
So the workouts.
Yep. So you have the option of doing just workouts. You either 1, 2, or 3 a week. You have the option of just doing nutrition. And you also have combinations where you can do 1 workout a week and nutrition, 2 workouts a week and nutrition, 3 workouts a week and nutrition. So, and all of it is described on the page and give you the info.
Love it.
So fun. So,
how well are you?
Oh my God, so well.
How's the wellness?
The wellness is great. We'll do the wellness check-in. We did our Deca Fit last week.
Did.
Oh my God, we kicked total ass. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So we went to Sacramento and ran our Deca Fit. So for those of you that don't know what that is, Deca is part of the Spartan umbrella. It is a functional fitness competition. We've done the Deca Strong, we've done the Deca Mile, and the Deca Fit is the longest of them. And in between the 10 zones of completion, so to speak, there is running involved, and it adds up to a 5K total. So we ran the first 2 laps together, and then we divide up the zones, and then we have to run the last 2 laps together. So what was your experience with it?
Better than I thought, actually.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I was like, if somebody said you needed to do this again for $1 million, I would have been able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Alone, maybe not, but yeah, with a partner. Absolutely. No, the running was easier than I thought.
Same.
I was really concerned about my knees, and even though I'm still feeling my right knee a little bit, which I know why, but the running felt smoother than I thought it would. And the stations, aside from right after the tank, I would say the worst 2 laps were after the tank.
Yeah.
Because your quads are just toast.
Oh my God.
And then you have to run 2 laps.
I know.
It's like,
I know.
Okay.
But I did the 3 laps on the tank versus just 2 because you had just come in from the run, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. Which I appreciate.
And you know what? I am there for you.
My legs were still jello after only 2.
I know.
Like, dang it.
It was a blast though.
Yeah.
It was the event itself was like totally energized.
We had some Boise peeps there.
I know.
Who did awesome. They did outstanding.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
Kilgore Coaching.
Yep.
The posse from Kilgore did just a phenomenal job, and it was just so great to see everybody. And the event itself was great. I mean, there were so many fantastic women that were there.
Yeah.
That it was brand new to them. They were nervous and like we're hyping them up on the starting line. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really a lot of fun. So.
She did more hyping than I did.
I'm all about that.
I was still a little nervous, but
I'll be your hype girl. If you ever need a hype girl, I'll be your hype girl.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, it was so fun though. And like in Sacramento was great.
Mm-hmm.
Great food.
Yep.
Good times.
Great Airbnb.
Oh my God, so great.
Yep. Great car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we rented an SUV, and then we got to the counter. I'm like, "Do you have a sports car?" And then I actually wanted a BMW, and this is a shout out to my friend Sonari, who got me hooked on driving the BMW when I met with her in Phoenix a couple of weeks back. And so we get there, and I'm like, "Do you have a BMW?" She's like, "No, but I have an Audi." And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
let's do it."
Oh my God, that was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun. So
it was
a little weekend jaunt.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
So physical body's doing all right.
Physical body's okay. I've got
busted elbow.
Busted elbow. Little tendonitis in the elbow, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It was. I went for acupuncture yesterday with the great Almeen Barton, who was on our podcast last. And, needles were terrible. It was, painful, but all good. But other than that, I feel great. Before the event, as you know, I was struggling a little bit because I was like, I'm not where I need to be.
Yeah.
I think that's just the Pitta in me. I'm like, I'm never where I need to be.
You are wherever you are supposed to
be. 100%. I'm trying to keep that in mind. But I played it differently this time. I took rest.
Yeah.
And I got so much benefit out of that. So for my Pitta gals out there who feel like they're not getting the results they need, or anybody who feels like they're not getting the results that they need or that they desire, sometimes the answer is not go harder and do more. Actually, a lot of the time it's rest. And I was actually listening to the Mind Pump podcast, and I forgot which of the guys on the show was saying that your growth happens when you rest.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to take this advice. And so before the event, I stopped training on Tuesday, and I had Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we had the event, and I felt good in the event. And then, of course, sore that night. But like recovery was fast. By Sunday, I was fine.
Yeah.
And I felt
we were definitely walking around like old ladies.
Oh yeah. I was just like, ooh, a little stiff here. But by Monday, things were fine, which denotes the fact that like rest and recovery is better. Like I feel like now we're in a level of fitness where that recovery just happens a lot faster. And I appreciate that. And like energetically, great. Mentally, emotionally, I feel very expansive, and I also feel very grounded. Very focused in what it is that we're doing. Yeah. And spiritually, very, very connected. I can beef up my spiritual practices. I've been focusing on the other things. Yeah. But I've done a lot of yoga nidra lately, which has been really good. Yeah. Like I feel that's part of like the rejuvenative recovery process. So that's been great. And I'm super excited for you to be out of school. So it's going to be a fun summer. Yes. This summer. So if anybody out there wants to hang out with us this summer, we've got Spartan, Utah in July, Spartan, Boise in August, Spartan, Seattle in September. And then I think the fall there'll probably be a couple of local DECAs here in Boise. But I am looking into the DECA Atlas. I think we should do that.
Okay. I know how that goes.
Yeah. And tomorrow we start the HBC challenge at Fit Body Bootcamp in Meridian. Yep. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. All good. And we have our Acharya retreat coming up.
Yes, we do.
I'm very pumped about that too. Yeah. So how about you?
Lots of things. Physically, the DECA was better than I expected. Less sore than I expected, especially my knees, which was nice. My right knee, it's going to do what it's going to do. But my left side is a little jacked up still. The pain keeps moving around, lower back, hip. Yeah. So I'm happy to get a massage tomorrow. Oh. Yeah.
I actually texted Jesse today and I said, if you have any cancellations tomorrow,
Get me in.
call me on the bat phone, please. Yep.
And it is just too much sitting. The testing that we did the last couple of weeks was just 6 hours sitting around for the most part. It's just, I can feel it just when I'm sitting.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's just kind of brutal. So again, just another reason to be done with school. So
how do you feel about that, like mentally, emotionally? Like, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
They show that on my face.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very ready. You know, the way, like I've said before, the way I'm teaching right now, I'm going to miss the kids just with the way I am with them right now. Yeah. I'm just so, loosey-goosey is the wrong term, but because
free flowing.
Yeah. I'm still, doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's just so much more free.
Yep.
Like today, just because I felt like it, I wanted to show them, we were talking about Ukraine. And so I wanted to show them about the Holodomor, Stalin's, enforced famine on the Ukrainian people. And I was like, this is going to tie into why potentially Russia has invaded Ukraine again.
Yep.
Like there's all this history there. And, so many people don't know about that. And I was like, I want these kids to know. And so I'm just going to throw it in there.
Good for you.
Yeah. So just stuff like that and just kind of going, off on tangents just because I can.
Because you can.
Yeah. So that's really fun.
But that's really the most authentic way to learn.
Mm-hmm. And yet that's why I'm leaving the system.
Right.
Because they don't want authenticity.
No.
They want robots until they get actual robots. And then they won't need us anymore.
So the robots take over? Yeah. Hey, Terminator 2 called it.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Rise of the Cylons.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. And energetically, I feel calmer than I have.
And I wonder why that is. Prajna, what is happening in your life that energetically things are a little bit better?
Yeah. I've just been talking to a person that has kind of calmed my central nervous system down, and
I am talking to a person who has calmed my
because I will never share it on the podcast as too much information to protect the innocent. So, yeah, and it's just been really nice to deal with an adult. And actually, I think the most beneficial thing is me dealing with some scars.
I love
dealing
that.
with my shit. Really having it put in my face and like, what are you going to do about it? And
isn't it amazing how that shows up?
Mm-hmm. Like you can either make the same decision that you've always made.
Right. Do what you did. Get what you got.
Yeah. Or you can make a new decision and potentially be happier. So, and you can always make different decisions down the road. So, Always. So that's been really nice.
I love that. And I love that for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's been so great to watch this whole thing transform and blossom.
Yep. You have been able to witness it and hear all my stories.
I love it. I love every bit of it.
And so yeah, mentally, emotionally feeling very good about that. And then intuitively, that was big with the Samskara, was just listen to my intuition. And I sat with it for a while, and then my intuition kind of popped up and said, you know what, you don't need to attach to that. You can let that go. So that was cool. And then spiritually, still got to work on that.
I know.
Always.
I'm excited to be with the Acharyas because we're going to get back into the tank.
Same thing. Yep. Back into the tank and
doing the work.
That's why we do that.
Yes.
To get back into the tank and get around other women and start looking at those things. So, yeah.
So good.
Yep. That's it.
So good. All right.
So Ayurveda and the doshic view on energy.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. So the first on the docket is, I think by now you all probably know the dosha types.
Yes.
We've got Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably also heard us talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses, but let's just go over some of these strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Of all of them.
I want to tie it also to what is known in the fitness world as the Ectomorph, Mesomorph, and Endomorph.
Good.
Because I think that people are more familiar with those terms. I mean, you're probably somewhat familiar with the doshic types because we talk about it all the time on this podcast.
Yeah, if you're listening to us. Yeah.
Right, if you're listening to us, but this is not like everyday language. I think from the fitness and the modern way of looking at kinesiology. People are more familiar with those body types. So in the fitness world, we have, and the kinesiology world, we have 3 body types: Ectomorph, Mesomorph, and Endomorph. And they line up perfectly with the doshic types.
Weird.
So,
Strange.
has nothing to do with the fact that the doshas predated 5,000
Wonder
years.
which came
but
first.
nonetheless, we're going to go with it. So the ectomorph body type, which would be associated with Vata. And if we remember, Vata is made up of air and ether. So this body type, and we, again, from an Ayurvedic perspective, we're always looking at talking about things in terms of qualities. They're like adjectives. And that's a very different way of looking at the world than what is done in modern medicine or in modern science. But from a Vata standpoint, which is also the ectomorph body type, there's a lot of air and ether in the body, which denotes the fact that body types tend to be more lean, more slender, less body fat. Long limbs tend to be taller. So, Praj, you're the perfect example of a Vata body type.
Yeah.
And so is Anita at Fit Body. She has more of a Vata body type. She's got more Pitta in her than I think you do. But if that photograph of the 3 of us, I'm like this tiny person in between these like very long, lean ballerina type gals. And, the strengths of that is that you have a fast metabolism.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and there's positives and negatives to that. Yeah.
Like when you saw me a few weeks ago and you're like, girl, you need to eat.
Exactly. So
Has it been 2 days?
So I walk into Prajna's house, okay, and like I know right away that like this girl has not eaten.
Not well, anyway.
Right. So what the advantages of an Ecto Vata body type are that metabolism is very fast and you can easily drop weight, but because you are already slender with low body fat, a small amount of weight loss can be very dramatic.
And if it's not in the right way, you're losing muscle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you lose muscle rapidly as a result of that. And also you have thinner bones.
Yeah.
So there's more air and ether inside of the bones. So as a result of that, things like brittle bones, breakage, and later on in life, osteoporosis is something that is a disadvantage. So, and also along with that is dehydration. Dehydration is something that happens a lot with Vata body types because if we think about air and ether and the long, airy ectomorph body type, we think about the ballerina, the dancer, the runner, the Kenyan marathon runner, where there's always constant movement. And so when you have constant movement and constant air and ether coming through the body, it thins and dries things out.
Okay.
So muscle development can deplete very quickly if nutrition isn't at top of mind, if you're not staying on top of it, and thinner bones as a result. So as it relates to that, I know that we're going to talk about how, what are the best lifestyle and things like that for this particular body type. That's why with Ecto Vata body types, it is super important to do strength training.
Yeah.
Because strength training builds bone density. And it also helps build muscle, obviously. And your body type actually needs the most strength training.
And not just the 5-pound bicep.
Correct.
Weight. You need heavy weight.
Yes, you need heavy weight, and you also need to increase your weight over a long period of time so that muscle is constantly being developed.
Yeah.
I think that there is, a lot of the imagery during the time when you and I grew up, when we were younger in our, middle school and high school
Jane
years.
Fonda.
Right. It was like, Jane Fonda and like cardio queens.
Yeah.
Cardio queens were the
Maybe
thing.
with some wrist weights.
Right.
Some ankle weights.
Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Wrist and ankle weights and like pink dumbbells.
Yep.
Like, no. Like, and what's interesting is that is not what your body type constitution is drawn to.
Yeah.
You're not drawn to lifting heavy. I mean, you are personally.
We're drawn to the Jane Fonda workout.
You're drawn to, get on the treadmill and run and do a lot of aerobics, et cetera.
Suck all the water and life out of my body.
Exactly. Like there's nothing left.
Yeah.
So Vata ecto body types are prone towards what we call wasting, where dehydration, dryness, muscle depletes, skin gets dry, bones get brittle, et cetera, et cetera. And so the thing that is at top of mind that needs to be examined all the time is, how can I lift heavy weights to build strong bones, strong muscles, so that I don't have to worry about breakage and osteoporosis? 90% of the people who fall and break hips and all of that stuff that transpires in old age are people who have ecto-vata body types.
I'm going to put this out there.
Hit it.
Probably also the worst one to take Ozempic. By far.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
You absolutely nailed it.
To lose 5 pounds, you should not be. Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
The other thing with Vata body types, yes, the metabolism is fast, but it can also have very low Agni.
Yeah.
So with a very fast metabolism, that fire is constantly going out. So like maintaining routine, high quality nutritive food especially protein.
Yeah.
Is huge for the ecto Vata body type, because you need to keep that flame constantly moving. And tons of cold water, trail mix, the things that Vatas are drawn to is exactly what's going to put that fire out.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yep.
Okay. So then we move into the Mesomorph Pitta type. And as a review, that is mostly made up of fire and water. And Mesomorphs and Pitta body types are traditionally very athletic and strong. They can put on muscle easy, and we're pretty much medium build kind of gals. We can put it on quickly and we can take it off quickly. So there's this constant interplay. Because the elements of fire and water are very present, Pitta mesos are drawn towards intensity. They love intense shit. It's the story of my life. And
not making the gains that I want to. Maybe you should stop sweating and being so intense. Just calm yourself.
I'm just being called out right here. And it's fine. It's so true. Like, because
you just threw the trail mix at me. So what do you eat for lunch? Maybe trail mix, a couple handfuls. It's my lunch.
I threw the trail mix at you. That's great. I got to remember that one. You're like, now I'm going to throw that fireball at you. So the meso strengths we're naturally predisposed to gaining muscle. And we have a very strong metabolism.
Yes. And gut. Like a
very strong metabolism. I always say that if my digestion, if I'm not hungry and I am not eliminating, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And the example of that was in Sacramento when we travel. And poor Praj is like, just trying to get to use the restroom.
I got one. And you're like, oh, I've gone 4 times already. I'm like, oh my God.
Like literally, like I just get up, like the thing is just moving all the time. So,
so nice.
It is. That is an advantage. So when we're looking at advantages.
Like, yeah, I'd eat all day too if I could just get rid of it.
What about breakfast in Sacramento? That was the best. So we go to breakfast. This is a sidebar. This is what it's like when a Pitta and a Vata go to eat together. Okay, so Praj is like, what did you order again?
I got like eggs and a sausage, chicken.
Like one sausage. Just like she eats eggs and one sausage. I'm like,
and some potatoes.
Right,
and some potatoes.
Right, and some potatoes,
which I saved for later. And we put it in our Indian food.
She's like, I'll put this in the glove compartment for you to snack on later. So she's like, I have a few eggs and one sausage and a little bit of potatoes and like one decaf latte. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, lightweight, right? So,
I want everything else on the menu but that.
so I had like eggs, potatoes, black beans, avocado, right? Like, and like even the waiter was like, damn. Like,
Yeah.
so,
And then a pancake like as big as my face, bigger than my face. And that it came in 3, but you just got 1.
It was
still
I wasn't
huge.
sure what it was going to be like. Can you imagine if I ordered 3?
Oh my God.
So there was this great cornmeal pancake that had blueberries in it. And I was like, I got to have that thing.
Yeah.
So, and it was big. It was
Yeah,
big.
and then me, I'm like, I'm never getting rid of that thing in a couple hours. So
So
why not order that?
I was like, I'll have that too. And the guy was like, damn, all right. So it just keeps going. I ate the whole thing.
I think they were testing you when they didn't bring it.
I think
Testing
so too.
to see if you could actually eat it. Like, I didn't get my pancake. Still hungry.
two decaf lattes later and all the it was fabulous. But the point is that if you have a metabolism that's very high and you feel like you're always hungry, and
It's okay.
It is. It's okay. Like I've shared the story before. I remember like being in high school and being like ashamed that I was always hungry. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I'm around all of these like
The Vata birds.
These Vata birds. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Picking at their food.
I know. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna have one sausage,
Yeah.
and I'm so hungry. I'm so full. I can't believe how much I've eaten. I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm like, I'll eat all y'all's plates. But so if you have a high metabolism and you have an athletic build and you are racking on muscle very quickly, chances are you have a Mesomorph Pitta body type, and that's great. And your advantage is that you do have high metabolism, you digest well, you use energy well, and you eliminate well, and you can put muscle mass on very quickly. Now, the disadvantage to some of that is that because of our draw towards intensity, inflammation. That's something that I'm always balancing. And it's not just inflammation in terms of like, the physical body, which I have as well, or in the digestive system, like within the gut, but also like inflammation in the mind, intensity that happens and like the mind gets going and it's like, I've got to work harder. I've got to do this, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why I have you, to bring that air and ether in to be like, okay, let's cool that flame, baby. Let's cool the flame. So, but there is the disadvantage and the weakness is that there is inflammatory responses. And so we have to be very cognizant of that. And that can show up in a variety of different ways. Yes, like in a traditional inflammatory response, it can show up,
acid
reflux or fever,
rash,
something along those lines. But it can also show up as inflammation in the joints, especially if you're if you're athletic. Yep, tendonitis, like in my elbow. So it's just stuff that you wind up like, oh, okay, I know what that is. I got to pull back, and so that's one of those.
Cool.
And then finally, the third doshic type, which is our Kapha body type, which we put in the category of the Endomorph in the fitness world. So the Endomorph Kapha body type, which is made up of mostly earth and water. And what's the advantages of the Endo Kapha body type is that it is very structurally sound. So like where Vatas have to worry about building muscle and bone density, Kaphas don't have to worry about that at all.
Not a problem.
They are structurally very strong. They have big bones.
Brick shit house.
Like literally a brick shit house. Like seriously, she's a brick
Yeah.
house. But they have strong foundational muscle. So it just kind of comes with the territory. I have a couple of clients that are Kapha body types, and like the shit they can squat.
Yeah.
Like holy cow, it's like damn, okay. And like deadlifts are like boom, nothing. So they with the Kapha body type, they gain muscle easy and they have strong bones, but the disadvantage is that they have a lot of stored fat. So there is a tendency with the endomorph Kapha body types to have a lot of excess adipose tissue. So that's something that they have to be concerned about. And the tendency is metabolic diseases as a result, because the metabolism tends to be a lot slower. So you've got a very fast metabolism with Vatas, and the Ectomorph type, you have like a very even metabolism that can be sped up or slowed down with the Pitta Mesomorph body types, but the Endo Kapha body types, it tends to be very slow.
So they've got to find ways to move
Exactly.
continuously.
Exactly. And you know what? I forgot to say that with Pitta body types, we talked about with Vatas and the Ectos that strong strength training is important. Mm-hmm. With Pitta body types, absolutely strength training across the board. Like every body type, got to do it. It's the thing. But with Pittas, they also need to balance that out with a lot of cooling kinds of activity, like walks outside, light, gentle yoga, that kind of thing, to decrease intensity.
Yeah.
With the Kapha body types, because metabolic disease tends to be something that is of struggle or a disadvantage or something that they have to look out for, movement is something that they have to do. So actually, where Vatas and the Ecto body types are should not be cardio queens, you want to get more cardio in with the Endo Kapha body types. Mm-hmm. Weight training is not a problem for those folks. No. Like they could lift a couch and it's fine. But we definitely want to get them moving more and getting their metabolism up because it is a lot slower. And so the other part with the Endo Kapha body types that we have to think about also is that in addition to metabolic disease, they also have tendencies towards growth-oriented diseases. So like the growth of cysts or cancers or things like that. Now, I'm not saying
the fluid.
Because of the water, the fluid, they tend to have like edema, things that pool because of that earth and water that's in them. Because they have a slower metabolism, it's not circulating as much. Yeah. Their circulatory system can also be a little bit slower. So in addition to metabolic diseases, which also includes heart disease, like cardiac issues, we have to worry about growth-oriented diseases, things like, cancers and cysts and things like that. Now, all of this to say, it doesn't mean that because I have this body type, there's a guarantee that let's not be apocalyptic here. Yeah. That situation is going to happen. Like, oh my God, I have...
Believe me, I've tried.
I have this...
I have all these diseases.
Do not go on WebMD. Do not go on WebMD. Yeah. But just because you have an Endo Kapha body type does not mean that you are going to have cancer. Yeah. We're just saying that what the tendencies are based on those constitution types.
Yeah, because your Vata does not mean you're going to have osteoporosis, and if you're Pitta does not mean you're going to have a heart attack. Like these are all...
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
You can change.
Yep. So the recommendations, and we do this through our fitness app, is that the Vata body types, you're drawn towards cardio, but we are going to influence you to be more strength training oriented, especially with the upper body. So if we look at all the constitution types, they're actually within our physical bodies as well. Yeah. So the Vata body type is all about the upper body. Pittas are mid body and low body are Kaphas. So every single one of these constitution types, as we've said a million times, exists inside of you. And it is just a matter of strategically training each of those areas, and also based on your primary doshic type. Yeah. So Vatas are drawn to cardio. We want to do more strength training, and the upper body should be the focus with strength training. And I mean, you're the perfect example of that. A year ago, you had very thin bones and you did not have the definition it is that you have now. You're putting on muscle in that space.
Everybody wants my traps.
You know what? When I grow up, I want Prajna's traps. The Pitta body type is, again, drawn towards intensity, like HIIT and all of that. And we need to do more cooling exercises. And we do need to strength train. And actually, Pittas tend to have very strong cores. Core is my superpower. Yeah. That's it.
And we had this discussion where you're like, I just have this extra layer that I want to get rid of. Yes. And I was kind of reminding you inflammation will create that layer. So, maybe your intensity is keeping that there.
Yep. Well, and you were right, because then when I pulled back for a few days, boom, it dropped.
Yeah.
And it didn't take long. The thing also with Pittas is mobility. Mobility is a big thing, especially in the midsection. Making sure that mobility training across the board is a great thing.
Yeah.
Vatas tend to have more mobility than Pittas or Kaphas do. So that's something. And then Kaphas, they tend to be drawn towards like, I'm going to do yin yoga. I'm going to do very slow movement, when they really need to increase their metabolism and their speed and get some energy circulating through the body.
Yeah.
So because they're a lower body focus, they definitely need to strength train and doing more, not only strength training in terms of heavy lifting for the lower body, but also some more explosive movements. You know, things like jump squats or box jumps or things like that.
Yeah.
Which may not be comfortable for them at first, but we're always drawn to the thing that we're comfortable with versus the thing that we're not. So things like HIIT classes for Kapha body types, and of course, increased cardio is going to be super helpful for those body types.
It's great.
And we have the complete package for our upper, mid, and lower body types that you put together. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? About our foundational exercises, our constitution type exercise plans?
So I borrowed and stole from another program, but kind of made it to fit our system. So it was based off of a program that was really looking at when you first get with someone, you look at what kind of range of motion do they have in their upper body, their midsection, and then in their hips. And so I was like, that seems very fitting with the Vata, Pitta, Kapha.
Yes, it does.
So it all kind of plays together. So I put together some mobility or primer exercises, priming exercises that focus on the upper section of the body. So if you're a Vata and you need some work in that area, those primers will be something that you will work on before you do your upper body lifts.
Like shoulder releases, neck releases.
Yeah,
things like
shoulder
that.
releases, cow and cat. Yeah, just lots of different things. Wall angels to get the shoulders warmed up. And then the midsection for Pittas would be, again, cow and cat was kind of actually through all of them. And then rotational through the spine and kind of like some crescent moon, things like that. And then,
which I have found super beneficial for myself. Because that whole area, even in the mid back, is always a struggle. And then Kapha, hip rotation and hip movement, ankle mobility. Yes. Ankle mobility is huge because the ankle mobility, as it gets associated with the calf muscles and that pooling of fluid on the side of edema, that kind of thing, is definitely a thing. That whole concept of cankles, like these primer exercises are super helpful for that. So it's really worked out well to use those as the priming exercises. And if someone's weak in all three, then you just mix it up and give them one of each every week or however often you see them. But otherwise, they're kind of focused on, their one section, whether it be Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Which is great.
Yeah.
And then the workouts are then primed for each of those. And we also have yoga for the dosha. So we have yoga videos that were put together with Michael and I a million years ago. So don't laugh at the haircuts in those. But that are doshic specific, that are like, okay, Vatas, we are looking at more grounding. With Pittas, we're looking at more cooling. With Kapha, we're looking at more movement. So the programs are associated with that. So we really have a full package in that.
Yes, we do.
In our personal training app. And so if this is something that you're really interested in, definitely check it out. I think it's super helpful. And shoot us a note. Again, Satyavani, Satyavani at thewomanwarrioracademy.com. Or check out our Instagram and look in the profile. What else you got for me?
Let's talk just a smidgen about time of life. Because, if we're getting into, multiple different, I would say our focus is, we talk about how it's women, perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal. That's, kind of that edge of Pitta, Vata time of life. So, you know, as Kapha as you might be, I think it also depends on the time of life that you're in.
Absolutely. And body constitution should not be confused with time of life. You know, what your constitution is going to stay throughout your life, but you are also entering a different life stage and have to honor that process. I brought with me today the Charak Samhita, which is one of the most ancient texts in the Ayurvedic canon. And just as a definition, they actually talk about exercise. I mean, like this is OJ. They knew. The wisdom is there. They knew. And the definition in the Sutrasthana says that exercise, such a physical action which is desirable and is capable of bringing about bodily stability and strength, is known as physical exercise. This has to be practiced in moderation. And what I love just about that whole thing is that it talks about bringing bodily stability and strength. So regardless of what your constitution type is, you are looking at trying to bring stability and strength. And that it should be practiced in moderation, because when it is practiced in extremes, it right away leads into an imbalance. Yeah. So I wanted to share that piece of it. There's one other thing. So it talks about the good effects of exercise. Physical exercise brings about lightness, ability to work, stability, resistance to discomfort, and alleviation of the dosha, meaning that specifically as it relates to any kind of imbalance, because the doshas are what cause the imbalance. And it stimulates the power of digestion. So again, health and wellness and exercise and fitness all goes back to stability, strength, and a healthy metabolism and digestion. All goes back to the gut. Physical exercise in excess, and this is where the imbalance, and excess in either direction, either you're not doing any of it or you're doing a lot of it, can cause exertion, exhaustion, consumption, thirst, bleeding from different parts of the body, cough, fever, and vomiting. Perspiration, enhanced respiration, lightness of the body, inhibition of the heart, and such other organs of the body are indicative of the exercise being performed correctly. So it's like if all of those things are happening, if we have great respiration, good heart function, the organs are functioning, and we have this lightness and glow of the body, then we know that exercise is being done well. And then it just goes into like when you should do exercise, when you shouldn't, et cetera, contraindications, et cetera. But I just wanted to share that from a baseline perspective, because that does lead into, if we go back to strength and stability of the body and good digestion, and we look at that over the course of a lifetime, we have from 0 to 25 years of age, we have the Kapha time of life. Earth and water, you are growing, you are developing, in all aspects. But if we're looking at this strictly from an exercise and physical Annamaya Kosha level and an energetic level, we're looking at it from, there is all of this development that is happening. So we want to have our exercise match our development. And I'll use the example of, growing up as an athlete, and that has changed a lot over time. I see a lot now of young kids in their their 0 to 25 being pushed too early.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of that can not only stunt physical growth and cause issues, but also energetic, mental, emotional growth as well. So during those developmental years, proper nutrition is key. Proper rest is key. The balance between exercise, rest, and nutrition is key, so that things develop in the proper direction, so that you're starting out of the gate well. The Pitta time of life, which picks up at about 25 years of age and goes until about 50, 55, is the fire time. Fire and water, it is also the time when we are doing everything. first job, maybe you're getting married or partnered up, maybe you're getting divorced, maybe you're having a second career, maybe you're going to school, buying a house, buying your first car, having kids. And so the foundation that we build with nutrition, rest, and exercise in those 0 to 25 years, it is so important to dial that in from 25 to 55 because there's so much going on in that 25 plus years.
Yeah.
That it is so easy to derail. And an example of that is, the freshman 15. Mm-hmm. People go off to college and they just, I'm not really going to pay attention because they still think that they are doing the exercise, rest, and nutrition that they were doing from 0 to 25. And now they're in college or they're in grad school or they're getting a job, et cetera. And those habits start slipping.
Yeah.
And that is usually the time. And for women, if they're having babies, then you've got hormone shifts that are happening, et cetera. And as a result of that, if habits and a good foundation have not been developed, they're going to start seeing come to the surface inflammatory issues, perhaps metabolic issues, et cetera, that will happen during that period of time that might not reach its peak, but it's the beginnings of the possibility of long-term disease.
Yeah.
Then the Vata time of life picks up between 50 and 55. And that's the air and ether time when we have more space, we have more time. But again, from a rest, nutrition, and exercise perspective, we have to stay on top of those habits because we have, especially for women, hormones drop. I mean, it happens with men as well. Hormones start to shift. And as a result of that, when the hormonal shift starts to happen, our bodies start to change and more air and ether gets introduced inside of the body. And we're on the downslide. Mm-hmm. Like we've done the first half of our life. Now the second half of our life is all about maintaining and continuing to build because we are depleting faster than we are gaining.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that like your life is over. Mm-hmm. I actually like being 50 years old, like I am the strongest I've ever been. But I also started that in my 40s.
Yeah.
So it's important to constantly stay ahead of the game. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that was about it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So there's the wisdom. There's the stuff. I mean, like these texts, what we've put together, like we are trying to make this ancient wisdom of Ayurveda so practical.
Yeah.
And I think we really have reached a good formula. So if you're interested, let us know. Drop something in the comments, email us, check us out on Instagram, all the things. So what is the try this, not that, my friend?
Try our app.
I like it. Try our app, not what?
Yeah. Not other apps
There you go.
If you're just struggling with, being where you want to be at this point in life, in your life, like we have this pretty dialed in as to why isn't cardio working for me? Well, because you're not a body type that really should be doing cardio. Right. You should be doing other things.
Yep.
Why am I getting burned out? Well, because you're Pitta and you probably shouldn't be doing that. Or, why if I'm doing all this lifting and all this relaxing, am I not, well, it's because you need to move more. So yeah. And then just the food too. I mean, the food is such a big piece as well. So,
try the app.
Try the app.
Do the thing. Mm-hmm. Love it. And we have our truth bomb.
Yep.
Truth bomb wisdom of this week, my friends, is seek out strong women to befriend, to align yourself with, to learn from, to collaborate with, to be inspired by, to support and rise with. Adjust each other's crowns. Who you surround yourself with matters. It's true.
That's what we preach.
You are your posse.
All the time.
You are your posse. Any other final thoughts?
Just excited to be out of school soon.
I know.
T-minus 2 weeks.
We're making it happen.
Yep.
All good stuff, friends. Mm-hmm. Well, we are so happy that you joined us. We hope that you got some more insight about your fitness plan, your nutrition plan, how it relates in Ayurvedic perspective, because a lot of you are probably starting to like realize that the weather's getting nice and, oh, I want to put on shorts, but I probably need to work out. So if you need some advice, and like we do a lot of coaching in this process as well. So like we're there for you as it relates to joining the app and being part of it. You will have communications.
We're really trying to look at this through a service lens. Like we are trying to do a service to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We are not just some anonymous app in the ether, but rather we really authentically want to help and bring joy and happiness to you. So, all right, my friends. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Jai Bhagwan. And of course, may your soul be victorious.
Is life hard? Yeah, it's really fucking hard. And you can also have the life it is that you want. You just got to work for it.